Okay, let's get parked here. I'm using this backup camera and I'm thinking, okay, well, it's a practice. Stay between the lines, Robert. It's kind of cool, but it's like, whatever. Do I have to stay within the line? Do I have to be perfect? In fact, I'm not. This is why God gives the experiences to someone who's supposedly a perfectionist, like myself. That don't work. That never works because everything screws up when you're a perfectionist. Oh, I got the sunroof down. So, yeah. Just hanging out here in my car for a little bit today. My wife is home doing her home deal. Clean up house and etc. etc. Cooking and whatever. I thought I'd get out and share a few words with you. I'm still doing my word studies, but they're not as frequent. I want to really focus on what I'm doing in the sense of putting out some good material, in the sense of the words that I'm presenting. I mean, I just presented it in the scriptural format. Our brother Simon Martin does a fabulous job in explaining the word and writing the blog post, and it's so nice working with him. This is a combination that works really well, and I thank God for it. He's an awesome brother, and this is my avenue to chat with you guys. I really am. I'm not into groups, and I'm not into the groupie and clicky thing or whatever the hell it's called. I don't need it. For me, it's just what God has given me personally and intimately and spiritually. The growth that I grow in is the growth of Christ, the growth of God, which He gives me individually in that way. It's not as if I'm trying to separate myself from anybody, but I always said, God keeps us separate to teach us, to train us, to give us true growth in spirit. And this way we're not in, really floaty and boaty. For myself, I just can't, I'm not a follower of human beings or a man pleaser or any of that. God has given me something personally, and I gain so much from the teachers that are out there teaching, like Scott Hicko and Martin Zender and quite a few teachers, that teach. I hear the words and I hear what they say, and they bring it across from a scriptural viewpoint and from a sound teaching standpoint as well. So this is what I gain in that way. But like I said, in my earlier Christian days, when I first became a believer, I was all over the place. I was like, holy shit, everybody's gonna get this. Everybody wants this. Everybody wants to know that God is gonna save all mankind, that the lies of Christianity and these lies of eternal torment and free will and immortality of the soul and the Trinity, it's all a bunch of bullshit. I was hammering away at Christians in chat rooms and joined all these stupid groups, and I'm like, wow, it just caused me more distress and literal depression than anything else. So I got away from it, and I'm not groupie, and I'm not cliquey, and I'm not joining. I don't need to battle flesh and blood or Christians. I don't. If anything, I'm here to encourage the body of Christ as much as God has graced me to do so. If I'm not much of an encourager, well then that's fine, but it's just who gains something from my words in spirit, in the sense of what God has given me and works through me to give you what He gives. This is the point. If you're a vessel and you're made ready by God, you're made ready by God to give something to the body of Christ as far as upbuilding, you're going to do so. God makes you ready. Until that time, really, you're not ready, and your words really are a resounding cymbal. It's like clanging gong. It doesn't mean anything. But to those who hear truth from what you say, it's important. And this is God's operation to everyone who's doing videos. everyone who's teaching. It's vital for the body of Christ. But I'm not here punching at anybody or any of that. It's just a bunch of crap to me. You know, we are not fighting flesh and blood. Realize the spiritual battle that goes on. It's an invisible battle in the sense of what these wicked forces were in their realm. And of course, Satan, he wants to cause disruption and disturbance, and he'll use every deceptive way to try to do so. He'll bring people together in groups, even in the body of Christ, to separate them and cause confusion and all this other stuff. It's useless. It becomes useless. It just causes distress and depression. Like, why go after that kind of stuff? You know, a person could sit down with another brother or another believer and just sit there and have a conversation, scripturally speaking and soundly speaking, without arguing or battling. In the sense of debate, well, you can have a mature debate with someone who's a staunch believer, who's a true believer. I shouldn't say staunch. I mean a true believer who really investigates the truth from the scriptures and a scriptural viewpoint. If we're doing that, that's fine. But if we're battling each other, it's not a good thing. It just comes out as pretty bad. And it really, from a human standpoint, we're all human and we're all soulish. So it affects the feelings and the emotions of that believer because we're human. We're still human. And we're mortal and we're dying and we're imperfect because God makes us that way. I know all is of God, and of course, He brings all these things about to train us and to temper us and to pressurize us in order to bring out the jewels of the beautiful truth that's really there in spirit. Now, he's the potter. He's forming that clay. I don't discount it. I don't say it's not worth anything, because it's definitely worth a lot when it comes to God's operation with the believer and the members of the body of Christ. But when it just becomes useless and no good, it won't stand the test of fire at the dais at all. It'll be burnt up so fast it'll be ridiculous. And thank God for that. I thank God for the dais of Christ. When that happens and the members of the body of Christ are there, it's just going to be so beautiful and so beaming and so awesome. Because then we won't be in earthly, fleshly, mortal, corruptible, dying flesh, physical stuff. It'll be gone. It'll be no good. It'll be burnt up. It'll be dross that was there for a time to temper us. But what remains is beautiful. The elements that remain will be requited. The elements that remain, that are withstanding the fire and withstanding the test of fire, will be awesome. This will be God's display through the body of Christ. His grace that displays these beautiful jewels that each one will receive as a member of the body of Christ. We will receive the beautiful wages, the beautiful allotment, and take it up among the celestials where our calling really truly is. So, look forward to my next word study, because it's going to be a good one in the sense of that, where God uses beautiful elements in His universe. So, have a wonderful day. Grace and peace to all my brethren. I love you very much. In spirit, I'm always here.